Most people think stocking canned meats is simple. Grab whatever's on sale, toss it in a cabinet, and move on. But here's the truth. That kind of thinking could leave you dehydrated, sluggish, and dangerously underprepared the moment things go wrong. Not all canned meats are created equal. Some will keep you sharp, energized, and moving. Others will quietly work against you, spiking your thirst, bloating your gut, and draining the energy you can't afford to lose. In this video, you're going to learn exactly which 7 canned meats deserve a permanent spot on your shelves, and why each one was chosen for a very specific reason. You'll also find out which 3 types you need to pull out of your pantry right now before they become a liability when it counts the most. Stay until the end, because the section on what to avoid might be the most important thing you hear today. Welcome to Crisis Horizon, where we help you stay ready for whatever comes next. If that's the kind of content you need in your life, hit that subscribe button and leave us a like. It helps more people find this channel, and trust us, this is information worth sharing. Let's start with the foundation. Before you think about anything fancy, before you worry about variety or flavor, you need to get the basics locked in. And when it comes to canned meats, 3 options form the absolute core of any serious pantry. The first one is canned tuna. And before you roll your eyes, hear this out. Tuna doesn't get the credit it deserves. It's not glamorous, it doesn't have an exciting label, but in an emergency, glamour means nothing. What matters is performance, and tuna performs every single time. Think about what you actually need in a crisis moment. You need food that's ready the second you open it. No cooking, no mixing, no decision-making. You pop the lid and you eat. That's it. When stress is high and time is short, that kind of frictionless access to nutrition is worth more than most people realize. The meals that require the least effort are the ones that actually get eaten, and that matters enormously when your energy and mental bandwidth are already stretched thin. But tuna isn't just convenient, it's genuinely nutritious. You're getting clean, lean protein that your body can put to work immediately. And beyond the protein, tuna is loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, the kind that support brain function, reduce inflammation, and help keep you mentally sharp when stress and fatigue are pushing you toward fog. When clarity matters, when you need to think straight and make good decisions, tuna is quietly doing its job in the background. It's also flexible. Eat it straight from the can, mix it with rice, put it on bread, throw it into whatever scraps you have available. It adapts to your situation, not the other way around. And its shelf life? Stack it deep, walk away, and come back months or even years later, it'll still be ready. Now, one thing to keep in mind, tuna is lean. That's mostly a strength, but it does mean it won't sustain you through prolonged heavy physical exertion on its own. Think of it as your foundation, your go-to, your reliable starting point. The rest of your pantry builds on top of it. The second cornerstone is canned chicken. And if tuna is about efficiency, canned chicken is about something deeper. It's about comfort. In a crisis, that might sound like a luxury. It isn't. Psychological resilience is just as critical as physical survival, and the foods you eat play a real role in maintaining it. Here's the thing about canned chicken. It looks and smells like actual food. Not survival food, not emergency rations. Real food. The kind you'd make on a Tuesday night without thinking twice. That familiarity carries enormous weight when everything else around you feels unstable or uncertain. A meal that feels normal can anchor you mentally in a way that's hard to quantify but impossible to ignore once you've experienced it. And physically, chicken delivers. It's not a quick hit of energy that burns off in an hour. It's filling, sustained protein that stays with you and keeps you moving. Combined with its versatility, eat it straight, layer it on bread, mix it with rice, season it with whatever you have. Canned chicken earns its place in your pantry not just as a meal, but as a stabilizing force. Storage is simple, shelf life is long, and prep is minimal. If tuna keeps you functional, canned chicken keeps you human. Now here's where a lot of people stop building their foundation, and that's a mistake, because there's a third option that quietly completes the picture, and most preppers underestimate it entirely. That's canned salmon. Salmon feels like a step up, and in a sense it is. It's less processed than most canned proteins, and it brings something to the table that tuna and chicken don't fully cover. Premium nutrition that supports you over the long haul, not just the next few hours. When you're eating from a limited pantry over days or weeks, something called nutrient fatigue starts to set in. It's not dramatic, it's slow. You start feeling flat, low energy, less focused, not because you're not eating enough calories, but because your body isn't getting the full range of nutrients it needs to keep performing. Salmon addresses that. The healthy fats support your brain, your joints, your energy regulation. The high-quality protein repairs and sustains. And after days of tuna and chicken, the change in flavor alone does something important. It resets your interest in eating, which matters more than people expect when meals start feeling like a chore. Open the can, eat it, done. No drama, no extra effort, just superior nutrition filling the gaps that your other proteins leave behind. These three, tuna, chicken, and salmon, are your foundation. Get these right and you've already built something solid. But foundations don't care.
For that, you need the heavy hitters. There's a difference between eating to survive and eating to perform. The foundation keeps you alive and functional, but when the demands get heavier, when the physical strain increases, when the days start running together, when your mental state starts to crack at the edges, you need something more. You need the heavy hitters. The first one is canned corned beef, and this isn't a subtle addition to your pantry, this is a power move. When you're burning serious energy, carrying weight, moving fast, working in harsh conditions, your body needs calories, not just a little, a lot, and it needs them in a compact, storable form that doesn't require constant replenishment. Canned corned beef delivers exactly that. It's rich, it's calorie-dense, it's loaded with fats and protein that burn slow and keep you going long after a lighter meal would have left you running on empty. The efficiency here is remarkable. A single can punches far above its weight in terms of the energy it provides relative to the space it takes up. In tight storage situations, that ratio matters. You want every inch of your pantry working hard for you, and corned beef earns its space every single time. Eat it straight from the can, mix it into rice, slice it onto bread, heat it up when you have the means, because warm corned beef hits differently. It feels like a real meal, not just fuel. But it works cold too, which keeps it useful no matter your situation. One thing you cannot ignore though, corned beef is salty and rich. That's what makes it powerful, but it's also what makes it potentially risky if you're not careful. Relying on it too heavily without proper hydration will leave you thirsty, sluggish, and in worse shape than before you ate. Use it as a tool. Rotate it in strategically for high-demand periods. Don't make it your daily staple. The second heavy hitter serves a completely different purpose, and once you understand why it's in here, you'll never overlook it again. That's canned ham. And here's the honest truth about it. Canned ham is in your pantry primarily for your mind. That might sound strange, but ask anyone who has gone through a genuinely difficult, prolonged crisis, whether it's a natural disaster, a power outage stretching into days, or any sustained period of hardship, and they'll tell you that morale is not a soft concern. It is a survival variable. People who lose hope, who sink into mental exhaustion, who stop caring, they make worse decisions. They conserve energy poorly. They stop taking care of themselves. Morale is fuel, and canned ham does something that none of the other proteins on this list can quite replicate. The aroma, the rich, salty flavor, the way it tastes familiar and satisfying, it invokes normalcy. It reminds you of a meal you've had before, in better times, in a warm kitchen. That emotional reset is powerful. A single meal of ham can push back frustration, ease fatigue, and restore a sense of groundedness that keeps you sharp when you need it most. It's still nutritious, still filling, still versatile. Slice it, mix it, eat it solo, but its real value is psychological, and that makes it irreplaceable in a well-built pantry. Just like corned beef, manage the salt intake, pair it with adequate water, use it as a periodic morale reset rather than a daily go-to. The third heavy hitter is the one that steps in when your energy is low, your patience is thin, and you just need food, now, without thinking. That's canned beef stew, and its superpower is simplicity. Here's something that doesn't get talked about enough in preparedness circles. Decision fatigue is real, and it hits hard in extended crisis situations. Every decision you make drains a little more mental energy. When you're already stressed, already stretched, already running low,
having to figure out what to eat and how to prepare it becomes a genuine burden. It sounds minor, it isn't. Canned beef stew eliminates that burden entirely. Open the can and you have chunks of beef, potatoes, broth, sometimes vegetables, a complete balanced meal in one container, requiring exactly zero planning or preparation. Protein, carbohydrates, hydration from the broth, it covers multiple nutritional bases in a single move. Heat it up and it becomes something genuinely comforting. A warm, hearty bowl of stew in a hard moment does things to your spirit that are hard to explain until you've experienced them. But if you can't heat it, it works cold too, which means it's never useless, never dependent on conditions beyond your control. When options are limited, energy is low, and you need something that just works, beef stew is what you reach for. Between the foundation and the heavy hitters, your pantry is already performing at a high level, but there's still one more addition to make, a small one that carries a disproportionate amount of weight, and there are 3 things you need to remove. Before we talk about what to cut, let's give credit where it's long overdue, because the final must-have on this list is consistently the most underestimated item in any pantry, and that's canned sardines. Most people skip them. Too strong, too unfamiliar, too easy to dismiss when the label doesn't look appealing. And that's exactly why most people are leaving a massive gap in their preparedness plan. Sardines are a compact survival superfood. In a package smaller than your hand, you get protein, healthy fats, omega-3 fatty acids, and even calcium, a nutrient that almost nothing else on this list provides. The nutritional return per pan is extraordinary. And the practicality? There's almost nothing faster. No prep, no cooking, no waiting. You open it and you're already eating. For someone on the move, under time pressure, or just completely out of bandwidth for anything complicated, sardines are the answer. They take up almost no space.
They pack more nutritional value into less room than virtually any other canned meat on the market. If your storage space is limited, sardines make every inch count. Yes, not everyone loves the taste, that's acknowledged, but here's the mindset shift that separates serious preparedness from casual stockpiling. In a survival situation, performance is the priority, not preference. Sardines perform, they deliver, and when it matters, that's all that counts. Now, let's talk about what to get rid of. Because building a strong pantry isn't just about what you add, it's equally about what you refuse to include. And there are 3 categories of canned meat that need to come off your shelves today, not eventually, today. Because in an emergency, they don't just fail you, they actively work against you. The first category is heavily sauced meats. Barbecue sausages, teriyaki-style canned meats, anything swimming in a thick, sweet, or heavily seasoned sauce. They look appealing on the shelf. They seem like they'd add variety. In reality, they're a liability. The problem isn't the meat, it's everything around it. Those sauces are loaded with sugar, sodium, and preservatives at levels that go far beyond what any of the quality options on this list contain. In a crisis, when hydration is already a concern, when your body is under stress, that excess sugar and salt actively dehydrates you. It creates bloating, lethargy, and that heavy, uncomfortable feeling that makes you want to lie down rather than stay sharp and mobile. They deliver the illusion of a satisfying meal while quietly undermining the very resources you're trying to preserve. The second category is cheap mystery meats. You know the ones, the unlabeled-looking cans with vague descriptions, suspiciously low prices, and ingredient lists that read like a chemistry exam. These are filler-heavy, protein-light products that masquerade as nutrition while delivering almost none. In everyday life, eating substandard food is inconvenient. In a genuine emergency, it's dangerous. If you're relying on a can to fuel you through a physically or mentally demanding situation, and that can is mostly filler, you will feel the difference. In your energy, in your focus, in your ability to function. Your body cannot be fooled when the stakes are real. It needs genuine protein, real nutrients, actual sustenance. And cheap mystery meats simply cannot provide that. The rule here is simple. If you can't read the ingredient list and recognize what's in it, put it back. Your pantry is not a place for unknowns. The third category is cans that require cooking or heavy preparation, and this one might surprise people because these products aren't inherently bad, they're just wrong for an emergency pantry. Convenience in normal life is a preference. In a crisis, it's a requirement. If a can needs to be cooked, heated for an extended period, or combined with multiple other ingredients just to be edible, then it becomes completely useless the moment you lose access to fuel, fire, or time, and emergencies have a habit of taking exactly those things away first. Your emergency pantry should operate under one rule. Every single can must be ready to eat the moment it's opened. No exceptions, no plan B, no, well, if we have a stove available. If it can't be eaten straight from the can without any preparation whatsoever, it doesn't belong on your emergency shelves. Now that you know what to keep and what to cut, the final piece is understanding how to actually build this into a system that works, not just today, but consistently over time. Diversity is the key principle. Each of the 7 canned meats you've just learned about serves a specific intentional function. Tuna keeps your mind sharp with clean protein and omega-3s. Chicken reassures and comforts through familiarity. Corned beef supplies raw, dense energy for high-demand periods. Salmon provides nutrient-rich balance and fights long-term fatigue. Ham restores morale and supports mental resilience when it's fading. Beef stew eliminates decision fatigue and delivers complete nutrition in a single effortless meal. And sardines give you compact, high-value backup that performs in the tightest situations. These aren't interchangeable, they're complementary. Together, they cover every scenario, every demand, every emotional and physical need that an extended crisis might throw at you. Beyond selection, rotation is everything. A pantry that doesn't get maintained becomes a pantry that fails you. Check expiration dates regularly. Pull older cans to the front. Replace what you use. Read ingredient labels every time you restock. Products change, and what was a good option 6 months ago might have reformulated since. Watch the sodium content. Balance your lightweight options with your calorie-dense ones. Mix your comfort foods with your performance foods. And ask yourself one question every time a new can gets considered for a spot on your shelf. Does this can help me survive, or does it just take up space? It sounds simple, but most pantry mistakes happen because that question never gets asked. A well-built pantry is not a collection of random purchases. It's a strategic system, built with intention, maintained with discipline, and designed to support you not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. When the pressure is on, you won't have time to figure any of this out. That work has to be done now in the calm, so that when chaos arrives, your pantry is already ready. And when it is, you won't just endure whatever comes, you'll be prepared to come out the other side. That's it for today's video. If this helped you think differently about your pantry, let us know in the comments. We read every single one. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one.